is looking at you, kid. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
I'll have what she's having.
Boss will be with you, always.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
We're not dead yet. Not dead yet. This is an episode of Gone with the Wind. Cue the music. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Gone with the Wind. This is a quick emergency meeting for a multitude of reasons. We've all been incredibly busy. Schedules have not permitted. I know that for Abe, he's getting in his finals right now for college. I know that was transpiring. And for myself, I know I had some side gigs that have been going on recently. So we've been able to record that last episode because we know it's going to be a doozy with our top 10. But regardless, we wanted to do a quick emergency meeting of Gone with the Wind because I feel like this kind of the GIF, whichever you prefer, of Anchorman when Will Ferrell, Ron Burgundy is just sitting there sipping his whatever beverage it is, and he just says, "Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast." That's how this last week has been. But I'm not alone to talk about, yes, of course, the Golden Globes now being nixed by NBC for this next telecast. We have Dan.
Yeah, this has been something coming for a while now. I remembered The Tourist about 8 or 10 years ago, and I was scratching my head saying, The Tourist? Why is? And then then it came out that the HFPA, they have a party. They like to
They
wine
wanted
and
them on
dine
there.
people. Who do they want to wine and dine? The biggest stars. So
At the time.
get Johnny Depp. Let's get Angelina Jolie. We got to have them at the party. And that's when the ball started kind of turning in my head saying, oh, my God, there might be some corruption going on here with these people.
So, and now here we are talking about it. We also have Phony Malcolm.
Hello.
Would you like to explain why I called you Phony Malcolm?
Because I'm recording on my phone.
Yes, he is in fact recording on his phone.
Malcolm's not a member of the HFPA, just to make that clear.
He's not a phony like they are. Phony journalist, we'll say. But
I don't know. It's not something I've publicized that I said for I could be.
He could be. I mean, I'm sure they have.
No, he's not in LA. He can't be.
No, I'm now looking up now, like, who are the members? Typing up. Maybe we'll find this picture. I mean, now it doesn't matter anymore because they've officially been. You know how people keep bemoaning cancel culture and they've been canceled. Someone's been canceled. Blah 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 blah. All that stuff. We're not here to talk about cancel culture. We're here to talk about an actual cancellation from a culture that has been apparently very toxic from what people have been said, be it Brendan Fraser when he was groped by the Hollywood Foreign Press president at the time back in 2003, or whether some very sexually charged and very sexist comments have been made by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association with Scarlett Johansson as she came out. This is stuff that's been going on for a while, and we'll get into what this means for the coming Oscar season in a bit, but at this point in time, I want to talk mainly about your thoughts on the fact that the Golden Globes have officially the plug has been pulled. They've been talking about when it came out, I believe earlier this year, when the fact that they had like zero people. I'm not sure if it's zero people of color. No, sorry, not zero people. Zero black journalists. Zero black journalists. Because I'm pretty sure they have some people of color. Because I know she's the president. What's her name?
I can't think of the name, but she's
but
like,
you know what I'm talking about.
She's Indian.
Yes, so they have people of color. It's just they have a complete lack of black journalists on there for a Hollywood Foreign Press Association. And then you find out that, we're going to add up to 100 to include some people in their first initial goings. And then stuff starts to come out and it says, wow, this is really not enough. And for too long, I feel like we have given them a pass because they're the fun award show. They're the ones. And me included, I've done it before too. I'm guilty of it. I'm sure we're all guilty of being like, oh, it's the fun Golden Globes. But then you read stuff deeper into it and it's like, wow, you guys really need to do some soul searching right now, because from everything that I have read, y'all really are just there for the kicks and the giggles. There is no sort of, and it's kind of degrading to the rest of Hollywood, which by no means, or not saying Hollywood's a perfect place, but it is a bad representation, especially when you are trying to do some change. And I think this is the time for the Golden Globes to have some change. And by NBC nixing them, and by people like Netflix, Amazon, Warner Brothers saying they're not going to do dealings with them, I feel like this is now the moment for us to, what's the word I'm looking for? For us to reevaluate what the Golden Globes actually mean. So we're going to start with initially, I'm going to start with Malcolm, because again, I want to be always respectful of your battery, because the last thing I want to do is for you to die right before we get to you for your phone. So Malcolm, what are your thoughts? And then we'll go to Dan of Malcolm, what are your thoughts on just the fact that I feel like within a couple of weeks, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association now has their Golden Globes nixed by NBC. Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those ones that I kind of figured ever since the article came out earlier this year, especially the no people cover in their squad and all that. I figured they're going to have to do something. But then they came out on the Golden Globes, made that statement, which I don't think was a good statement.
Very robotic.
Yeah, so I was like, well, they're going to do something, because and now that NBC have said that they're not going to telecast the awards next year, especially with people like Tom Cruise returning his Golden Globes that he's won, and Scarlett Johansson and Mark Ruffalo speaking out against them, and even Netflix, Amazon, and Warner Media going, they're not doing any dealings. So I mean, unless they want to become an all Disney show, just
Disney can do that themselves.
Then they need to do something. And I know they did a statement. I know they did a statement in regard as soon as NBC sort of said, well, we're not going to eat your show until you sort your shit out.
Basically.
But and I mean, in their statement, like, they kind of outlined what they plan on doing. But it's one of those ones they need to do it quicker.
And Dan, what is your thought when you heard this? I know you told me beforehand it was a long time coming, but what was your initial thoughts when you realized that not only was this a boycott, but it became a pure cancellation by their parent company?
Yeah, I mean, I when I saw that, I said to myself, this is the right thing to do. This is the right idea, because the only way you're going to get these people who think they're up on a pedestal above everybody else to start doing the changes implementing the changes that we as a society need them to make is to say, no more show. Here's your rinky-dinky statue, and come out and say, hey, I was harassed by this journalist or that journalist in interviews, making them, pointing the finger at them, saying, this is who we're talking about. We're talking about you guys. You aren't better than everybody else, and you need to make some sweeping changes. And August, I think, is a good time to make it. Don't be waiting until December or November or whatever. August, I'll give them till August. I think August is the right time. That's soon enough. But you got to come up with 20 black journals. You need to come up with where your money is. How your money that is, quote unquote, a charitable contribution is going to. And it's not going into bank accounts of your members.
Yeah, there's a lot of shady things that I know that we've talked about. And you just, honestly, I feel like you just Google Hollywood Foreign Press scandals, controversies, and you're going to get a long list, even more so than hashtag Oscars so white. Like, the Academy has issues, of course, but they're not a group of like less than 100 journalists kind of.
10,000, man. I think they're 10,000.
Exactly. They're not pulling the strings. It's a consensus thing. Go ahead, Malcolm.
Yeah, and I mean, ever since the Oscars so white, the Academy's been making obvious moves to fix that over time. Hollywood Foreign Press have not done anything to that I've noticed.
They haven't, have they? Like
Nope.
nothing.
And-
What was the last change they made?
They've actually dropped their ranks by 10. I don't know how many years ago, but at one point it was 97 journalists. Now it's like 87. So they've lost 10 members, and they haven't even replaced those 10 members with African American or Black journalists, which they could have easily done. They not only they haven't even replaced their own journalists with regular journalists that were qualified. Like, just as an example, John Campea. We all know John Campea from Collider and his own. He's a qualified HFPA member. But do they reach out to John Campea and say, "Hey, John, do you want to join?" No. But the big one is that woman that came out and said she tried to join, and I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. But they said, "No, we're not taking any members." And she was perfectly qualified to be a member. And the other thing is, she wrote more about the movies and the awards, so forth, than the members of the actual. They're not even writing that much.
Do you remember? I'm about to say, yeah. What have they actually written? And the last thing you heard about a Hollywood Foreign Press member doing was, remember that? Oh, the Daniel Kaluuya, Leslie Odom Jr. That was a Hollywood Foreign Press member who made that mistake. So,
Figures.
yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I'm curious. Like, I know they're foreign press, but I feel like the Golden Globes, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association specifically, is something of a bygone era. It is something that was established back in the, it was like 70 something years. And that means started back in the 50s, maybe the 40s. I can't remember exactly. It started a while ago. And it was of a time when foreign journalists were not as congregate or did not congregate as much in LA. Now they do. And keeping your exclusive club to what it is, you are just going to be rife with not only elitism, which is already rampant in Hollywood, but you're going to keep this kind of social club to where you're going to kind of just keep it with your friends. It's like nepotism almost at its finest without the bloodlines, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, this call for diversity, I feel like, has really escalated. Were y'all either shocked at how quickly things escalated? Because again, I evoke the Anchorman gif because that shocked, and thoughts.
No, I wasn't shocked at how quickly it escalated because you could see the writing on the wall back in February when they had to come out on the show and had that reaction about, we know we've messed up, we've made mistakes, we're going to fix our mistakes on the actual broadcast of the Golden Globes, that because of that article that came out the day before, or the last couple days before, they were like, we need to make a statement, and they made a mistake. They made a statement right then and there, so you knew something was going to happen. And you see when Variety and the Wrap and these guys smell blood in the water, trust me, they are gonna be eaten like Jaws because they love a little bit. They love that their controversy.
I'm not imagining that Jaws right there. Malcolm, what were you gonna say?
I was about to say, I'm a little bit surprised at how much it escalated, especially over the last few weeks, because it felt like it was the start of the week when I dropped the news about NBC canning the award show for next year. Then next thing I know, I saw the thing about Tom Cruise coming out, and then I read that Mark Ruffalo and Scarlett Johansson had come out recently. So it was like, NBC canning the ceremony was like what kicked off all this recent stuff. It was like, and so it's going to be one of those ones that they have to do something quickly now, because unless they want to keep being a thing, because as it stands, who knows if there's actually going to be an award show next year at all, televised or streamed or anything. So
Exactly.
Well, Malcolm, just on that point, I'm glad you brought that up. In 2008, coming off of the writer's strike, the HFPA didn't have a ceremony, but they did put out their winners. And people are thinking, oh, they might do that even though they don't have a ceremony because of this. I think that canceling the show is just them saying, NBC, and saying, we're not going to have a show until you show us what you are doing to improve. And they might actually have a show, but they canceled as of right now because they want to see the changes that the HFPA makes.
Yeah,
And
no, I mean,
go ahead, Malcolm.
yeah, no, I was about to say, like, I know that because I think they said in the article that they will resume it again in 2023 if they've seen the changes. But what I meant by my statement is they might find another network to maybe show the show if they do plan on having a show, or they might just choose to film it and stream it online, which is something that a award show should do a lot more often, in my opinion, anyway.
So what I was going to add, first off, this hit my mic. Good job, Dan. That's a good point. They just kind of gave up their awards. However, that, in my opinion, well, first off, it felt quick to me because I felt like I blinked, and next thing you know, NBC. I go away from Twitter for a day, and then Tom Cruise gives back his Golden Globes, and then NBC throws away. Like, whoa, that escalated really fast. But you're right. It has been a long time coming. But unlike the writer's strike was not on them as an organization, but they still wanted to give something out. I think the Golden Globes name has been tainted with this, and the only way for them to reform it is for them to, actually legit make some substantial changes. And I don't think they can do that if they take themselves back. They gave themselves a new date. I believe is it August 2nd? Or I believe it's August 2nd where they gave them the new timeline for new rules or new changes they're going to make.
I think that sounds about right.
And I think they just need to take a break from this year and come back again to say this is what we're going to do, or they need to fade away into obscurity, which I don't think is going to happen, but because they still have weight to the name. A Golden Globe, despite all the jokes we make about, oh, these really don't mean anything at the end of the day, they're just kind of a fun little party, they still hold weight. How many trailers do you see of a Golden Globe winner, if they don't have an Oscar, of course, because that supersedes Golden Globe? How many times do you see that? I think maybe this is a case for NBC to be like, hey, okay, if you don't get your act together, we're going to acquire something else, because there are already award shows of SAG. Maybe this means a new contract with SAG happens. Maybe this means there's a new contract with possibly the Critics' Choice Awards, which recently has come out for the film. Maybe this is something for a larger critics body, which is definitely a lot more than less than 100 people that are currently in the Critics' Choice Awards. If critics come together and do that, maybe that's a time for them to elevate that award show, and they have some negotiation with I know that isn't it TBS or TNT with SAG? Do you remember what has CW? CW has yes, it has Critics' Choice. Maybe there's some sort of agreement where like they'll simulcast it, maybe they'll buy them out. But perhaps this is something to light the fire under the Hollywood Foreign Press to actually do something substantial. And that's just my 2 cents on that matter.
And that's also, man, that's a pre-recorded ceremony that is aired like a week later or a couple days later on CW. Mm-hmm. So they could actually do that ceremony live, the Critics' Choice Awards live as it's happening. Also, if you want to look for, because basically what the Hollywood Foreign Press is, it says press in the title. So you're looking for a bigger press body. What's bigger now than ever? And that's the online Film Critics Society, who right now there is a group called the LA Online Film Critics Society that friends of mine, people that I know, Scott Manzel, Scott and Mance, Ashley Manzel, are people that run that. And it's people not only in LA, it's people in Chicago, people in your state of North Carolina, people in Washington, D.C. If you have a YouTube channel or a web site and you write for a website, which I currently write for a website in Orlando. I'm not saying that I'm not a member of that, but I'm just saying there's a huge body. If you go look up the amount of members of the LA Online Film Critics Society, there's tons of people. It's not like 87 people. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that would be a good replacement for the HFPA if they were to replace. But as far as airable award shows, who's established, the Film Critic Awards is already established, and like you said, it's on the CW, and that would be a good replacement for the Golden Globes that they decided to do. And it's a good awards because they do TV, they do young adult, a young actor award, they do ensemble, they do a little bit mix of awards. They don't split it into musical or comedy. Like
There's some variety.
yeah, there is. It's not just the same categories as the Academy Awards or anything. And yet people like the critic, no pun intended, but like to criticize the Critics' Choice Award because they nominate 7 actors or 8 actors or 10 movies or this. I've come out and say this. I'll be honest with you. I actually rather have more actors if that particular year there are 7 or 8 actors that are legitimately, qualified to win the best actor that year or the best supporting actress or the best actress. I think a fluctuating scale between 5 and 10 is the right way to go with your actor, director awards. I know some people don't like that. I've talked to Malcolm about this in the past and he didn't like it, but I'm just saying that's just my opinion.
I think it just makes distinct. It makes them distinct. I think if we go too broad outside of picture, then it starts to personally sully. But that's another topic for another day. I think there's a happy medium that can be found. And I honestly, there's so much wrong with the world and so much wrong with Hollywood and so much that can be done that I think that we're kind of what's the word? We're nitpicking. Like, oh, they're doing too many nominations for that one. Guys, literally, there's so much going on in the world right now. Let's not nitpick about how many people got nominated. Let's celebrate the fact that they did get nominated. Maybe, of course, this all, again, we could be having this discussion in a month or so, and next thing you know, boom, the Golden Globes are back on. But I think this could be a time for other lesser known, and by lesser known mainstream wise, for people to start to gravitate toward that. Like, for instance, anything we've mentioned, whether it's a new award show, a previously established award show that NBC likes and they want to bring into their fold. I think this could be I'm excited for what this means. And we're going to get into this next topic now. I'm excited. Excuse me. I'm excited for what this means for the award season coming up, which is why I'll bring up that topic of what we expect to happen with this new season without the Golden Globes, with the BAFTA's strange new committee that they have. What do you guys see is going to happen now that the Golden Globes are gone? The controversy aside, let's just say the controversy didn't happen. The fact that the Golden Globes decided to take a year off, which is basically what we have right now. They're not going to be a precursor that defines anything. What do you foresee transpiring, if anything? Malcolm, what do you think?
This is before I get into that. One thing I do want to see if the Golden Globes come back is with this new group that they'll be electing. One thing I hope is for them to fix up the eligibility, so we can see like foreign films maybe get into like Best Picture and there, maybe some clear definitions of what's a comedy, so we don't see random things like The Martian get into Best Comedy. Or,
that was a thing.
Good point, man.
Because it's things like that which has helped make the Golden Globes a bit of a joke. But to go back to the actual question, I don't know what this means when it comes to precursors or what's going to happen sort of going forward. I think it's just going to be one that will be relying more on SAG and BAFTA and stuff for what than ever, because I don't know if there's any other award show that's usually happens around the time Golden Globes do normally happen, but it's going to leave a bit of a hole, but it's also going to mean that some of the movies are going to be campaigning much harder to get into, like SAG and that may not normally get that may only get nominated in the Golden Globes, because we know like things like SAG and the Oscars don't tend to go to comedies more, so the comedies will have a harder road to actually get noticed in the award show without the Golden Globes sort of elevating them a little bit.
Okay, real fast before your point, Dan. Sir, what are you doing here? I thought you were gone.
It says he was napping.
You were napping. Everyone, Abe has joined the chat.
Hi. Sorry.
Hello there.
How long have you? Well, you've been broadcasting for 25 minutes.
25
less.
minutes, yeah. It's okay. We're not
I
live.
thought we were doing at 7.
We
We
were.
were,
think
but I didn't get back until 7. Yeah, for work. We have a gas shortage here in the southeast now, so it was a slog trying to get gas and get back. So thanks everybody. Anyway, do I cut this part out? I don't know. I'll see how lazy I am. Dan, you first off, we'll let you finish what you tell me what you're saying, and just to let Abe know, I'll repeat the question so you can think on it. But I was telling everyone. First off, what does this mean for the award season coming up? What does this mean for us when it comes to the award season? Is this going to change without the Golden Globes, and what can we expect? The controversy of the Golden Globes aside and why the NBC cut them, well, actually, give me your thoughts on that as well, too, once Dan finishes his thoughts along those lines, because I want to hear your thoughts on what this means that the Golden Globes are now gone, and your opinion on the fact that they are actually gone. But Dan, go ahead and tell me what you think about what this means for the award season at large.
Well, just going off of the BAFTAs real quick here. The BAFTAs actually did pretty good last year.
Yes, they did.
So maybe they're becoming a better barometer to judge who could get nominated, who could win going forward, because they got a lot right that nobody thought they would get right, considering everything that happened. People weren't giving them that much credit because of this grouping of like 12 to 16 people that are voting on this stuff. So that was kind of interesting. But then the other thing is this past year, we had the Best Actress Awards given out to Rosamund Pike for I Care a Lot and Andra Day for the United States versus Holiday. Neither one of those were a factor coming into the Academy Awards. Yeah, Andra Day got nominated, but she was basically fifth on the list there. So this thing about splitting things into drama and comedy or musical, to me, is one of the kind of the jokes in the award season. It's like, it's their way of getting more people to their show, sure. And they can have more whining and dining going on of all these people. And I brought up Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie from about a decade ago. So maybe this is, we'll have them fix that as well. And maybe they will actually go more in line with the Academy Awards, or do an ensemble, or do young actor, actress, or something different, instead of splitting things into comedy and musical, which really don't have a kind of anything to do with what really happens come Oscar time. There's no comedy or musical category. Yeah, this year, are there going to be some musicals? They're going to be in the mix.
Yes.
Award season? Yes, there are. We know that for a fact. I've already seen one of them, and I'm telling you right now, I'll be shocked if it's not in the mix come award season, because
I don't want to hear it. I'm jealous of you right now. I'm jealous of you. No, I'm just jealous of you. Please continue.
But so I think the Critics' Choice are going to step up, like we mentioned, and they're going to have to be a legitimate precursor, because there just is a void there with the Golden Globes, and they're going to have to be the group that steps up and has to be some kind of a barometer for us. And maybe they'll be the stepchild that people, don't believe the Critics' Choice. They don't know what they're talking about. Usually they're pretty good, though, the Critics' Choice are.
They give us a nice understanding of what the broad sense is going to be. Maybe that'll tell us, like, because you said an interesting thing on the BAFTA. The BAFTA, remember how the BAFTA, like, I feel like every year it's split since, like, what? Like, the picture was always the every other thing. But, like, I think last year was, like, the first time in a long while. Like, the last thing I remember was, like, what Argo. Didn't Argo win the BAFTA for best film? I could be wrong with that, but like that's been a while. But regardless, I think that the committees, while they'll be broad in the sense of like, oh, these people probably won't get nominated at the Academy Awards because of the smaller committees, you're going to have a couple in there that are going to show a consensus pick. Like, let's say like Frances McDormand did, and who ultimately went on to win her third Oscar, as we know. We were there. I think that that's going to be the consensus. They're going to have those people like, forgot what her name was from His House, who managed to make it in, or someone from Rocks, but you're going to have those consensus picks. And I think the committees is going to like hone in on that, spreading the love, but also honing in on a greater consensus. So was napping, Abe, tell us, it's a 2-part question. So get ready, drink some water. What are your thoughts on the fact that the Golden Globes are now gone for this year, at least by NBC nixed for all the controversy that they had? And what does this mean for the award season? So, Abe, take it away.
Are they really gone? Like, can they still
For this
hand
year.
it out, but do not? Oh no. Okay, my question. I have so many questions.
Okay, well, first off, yes, they can still hand out if they want to. Is it wise for them to with all the controversy? They should probably take a year off just to, because it's a kind of a tainted name, as I was saying beforehand, just so they can reassess everything. But NBC will not be broadcasting them, and I don't see anyone coming in to swoop up and rescue.
Do you know, guys, how many NBC pays the Golden Globes for
No,
airing
I
the
don't.
broadcast?
What's
$60
the
million.
question?
dollars.
$60 million. Wow.
To air it?
Yes.
Where's
Wow.
that money going?
Well, we already
The-
said
The building?
questionable charities and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
$60 million. I had no idea that kind of money was made, but how many
Jeez
people are
Louise.
in the HFPA? 80?
87. This particular. It's been up to 97 in the last 20 years. So it's been consistently dropping over the last 20 or so years.
Hey guys, do you
mean,
want to do an
I
award
think-
show and see if we can get to $60 million? Okay, I'm
Hey,
sorry, I'm
let's
getting
do
into
it.
tangents.
What, Malcolm?
I-
What were
I'm-
you saying, Malcolm?
Yes.
I was about to say, from the article I read the other day, I think it's at 86 now, because I think someone was fired in April from the whatever is.
I
Okay,
wonder
crazy
what's going to be
thoughts.
going on.
But thinking about that, assuming they do not hand it out, I don't. The thing about the Golden Globes, it was the first big award had in the race, because it came out
Yes.
first week of January, the first Sunday, I believe.
First, second,
It's not
second
New
week.
Year's.
Yeah, in there
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well, the first Sunday, if it's not New Year's, just for the sake of conversation, let's say that. So I think it truly shakes up everything, because if we consider we're gonna have a real race, let's say this year's race was not, but like a normal one, it's like what's gonna step up there, as you guys were saying, and just put the movies in recognition in early January. That's when studios start releasing movies, like in January, when these awards start being handed out. There's so many questions. Like this, I don't know if there's any right reason, but like it truly, it will be interesting to see what happens, like with the awards, like how it affects. You guys were mentioning BAFTA, and I think that can be a persecution. But BAFTA usually handed out like what, a week before the Oscars,
Yes.
and you guys talking about the critic choice, but the critic shows air and A&E, right? Or oh no, it's a CW.
CW, yes.
W.
Yeah, CW.
They're pre-recorded, so they could just say, "Hey, let's make this a live show and air it
Easily.
And they always see the critics' choice. They see everything early too. So there's a legitimate case that they could fill the void of the Golden Globes, because they all see these movies early and vote on them way early. The critics' choice do, because they're going to the film festivals and stuff like that. So a lot of times they get a chance to see these films, like Toronto, Telluride, and can in these different places.
No, and I agree on those lines. Like, it's very easy to just kind of like, in theory, the Critics' Choice is the same as the Golden Globes, but bigger, bigger. So
way bigger.
Yeah, but Abe, you were.
Yeah.
Oh no, there goes Abe. Go ahead, Malcolm.
I was about to say, going back to the BAFTAs, I think we won't truly know on if the BAFTAs are going to line up the Oscars until at least we get a normal award season, a normal full year, because I think with 2020 there was a limited amount of movies that could be nominated for both the Oscars and the BAFTAs. So I think COVID kind of screwed them all up there. So I think we won't know until at least a few years yet whether they're going to line up more often, because as we said earlier in the year, if the BAFTAs going to committees in that, then which is basically what the Oscars is doing anyway, then
point,
they
Malcolm.
could line up more. But it's just one of those ones like we can't really go, oh, they're going to line up all the time from now on, because with last year you had a really random eligibility window in that. So I think we have to give it some time to know if it's truly going to line up all the time.
And I don't think, the statistic that the BAFTA, 98% lined up or something like that besides cinematography, I don't think we're going to get that again next year. I think it's going to be very hard for us to get something like that again. But Abe, you were saying, were you anything else you wanted to add about the award season? And why? Oh, actually, tell us, do you think... what is your thought of the fact that Golden Globes are now currently just like that they've been pulled? What do you think this means for not only Hollywood but for the Golden Globes? What is their future?
Look, I think there's so much money involved that if you ask me, you're gonna take $60 million out of my pocket, I will do everything to get it back. And I think that's what I'm gonna do, because that 87 people need to start sharing that load if they want us to at least get something. So I don't think they're gonna get back. They've been on air like for 76 years now. How many Golden Globes ceremonies have been? So it's gonna be hard to take that whatever you want to be, they're part of Hollywood history. They're not respected. We have something. They're not gonna get canceled. There's ways to make change. We've seen them through these last couple of years that the industry has been changing. The Academy has done the work to amplify to put it in a not sure right way, but like the background of some voters, like to really share the voices. And I think it will be dumb for the Hollywood Foreign Press to not pull the trigger and to change. I think there's look, now actors have there's backlash for them, and what's the most important thing about the Golden Globes? The fact that actors are present and people want to see the broadcast. So we have to truly make change and show the Hollywood community that change has occurred for people to be comfortable, putting their names next to the HFPA. So I think they will change. They will be stupid if they don't do it. Honestly, I don't see a way how they cannot change it. Sure, they all dumb and maybe racist, but I don't think they're that stupid to not do something.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the big thing. Is where are we by this time, August 2nd? By this, well, not this time, but by August 2nd.
We should revisit it too. We, as Gone with the Wind, we should revisit this
by August 2nd. Yeah.
Hopefully, there's some news by then, and we can revisit this.
I'm just hoping.
By the time August 2nd comes, we'll probably be back starting up again, anyways. So.
Yeah. No, you're right, and I think that with as we cover, obviously many things, we're not going to be just we're not just the Golden Globes. At the end of the day, it's going to be the Oscars is the big one. But I want us to be conscious and aware, like, okay, the Golden Globes, you're mired in controversy. What have you done? And I want us to have a critical eye when we come back in August 2nd, excuse me, and they give us what they're doing. I hope that we are able to look back at it and say, okay, you guys are actually doing something not only to issue the rampant just corruption within your ranks, the rampant sexual harassment, the rampant abuse of power, and just the rampant racist comments. Just you are able to do good reform, outs the person who's in the president right now, just kind of restart from scratch and make it something that you will be proud of, whether it's in a year's time or whether it's August 2nd. Why do I keep getting that mixed up? August 2nd. But yeah, you guys have any last thoughts about the Golden Globes?
Yeah, I mean, just this is the thing. When you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar, you need to pay the penalty. And until you pay the penalty, you should not be able to allowed any platform, anything to where you get your voice out there and get your voice heard as an organization. And that's the bottom line here. Nothing about the HFPA should be broadcast. Nobody should take anything they say seriously until the sweeping changes happen. New members are brought in, at least 20 new black journalists are brought in, maybe more journalists as a whole, not just black, but maybe another 100 journalists as a whole.
Yeah,
from around the world. And until people that have a better idea of how to evaluate this situation to see if all these steps have been taken by the HFPA, say, yeah, they've done their due diligence, they've done what they need to do, we should let them broadcast their show again. That's the only way these guys get a second chance. And there's no second chance for these people unless they do all of this stuff that you said, Malcolm, I'm saying, and people are expecting them to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing much more I can add. Just that many should make a pitch to NBC and try to get Gone with the Wind Awards made legitimate.
Tell them that if they'll pay us $60 million, we will take nothing less than $60 million. And what we do with it, apparently, well, we'll give most of it to charity, of course, but we'll keep at least $1 million for ourselves. That's $4 million right there.
We'll get some new members.
We'll have the receipts. We'll actually give you the receipts. I'm not sure if, the Hollywood Foreign Press gave you the receipts, but I digress. Abe, do you want to add anything?
I'm good.
You're
and
good?
Taxes,
Perfect.
too. You just hit the nail on the head. The taxes. These people, this is supposed to be charitable a nonprofit organization.
They are a nonprofit.
And the amount of money that they're getting, where's the who's paying the taxes on all this? What, because they're Hollywood Foreign Press? They don't pay taxes? Oh, come on now.
Where's their place of residence now is the question. Where's their place of residence now is the big question. If you're still Foreign Press, that's another topic for another day. Before we wrap up, I want to let you all know I finally watched The Father, and man, it's so good. Guys, you were right. It is phenomenal. Holy cow. I was going to make a thing where I was going to be like, guys, it's so bad, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't. I just wanted to say that real fast and let you all know I have in fact watched it. I love it. Where is it on my top 10? I do not know. You'll have to find that out later in our next episode. We had a surprise episode of the Golden Globes reaction because we honestly didn't think there'd be this. I honestly did not think there was going to be this big of a news story when it comes to the Oscars, quote unquote. It's Oscar tangent because it has to affect the Oscars. I didn't think there'd be anything really until we got to like August, July. But here we are now, and I'm shocked and I'm excited. and we're still gonna have another episode. So you got an extra 70th episode before we get to our 71st episode. But yes, I love The Father. Yes, go ahead, Malcolm.
Well, I'll let you finish, but I was about to say I've finally watched Nomadland, so.
Yes, and now look at us. We're all going to be able to see. We've all seen. I've now seen all the Oscar contenders. After the Father completely dodged me until after the Oscars in and of itself. So now I finally saw it, and it is amazing. It is great. Anthony Hopkins deserved that Oscar. I don't want to care what anyone says. He was utterly phenomenal. Olivia Colman, fantastic. Loved her in it as well too. The production design. I know Abe. I think you had mentioned how it was fantastic and needed to be rewarded. Yes. No, it was Malcolm who said that.
Yes.
Never mind. Malcolm, you had said the production design needed to be awarded. And yes, I agree. That was fantastic production design. Cinematography was great. The screenplay was phenomenal. I think overall it was just a stupendous movie. Stupendous. I loved how intimate it felt. It wasn't grander, it wasn't grandiose, but it made you kind of question the nature of like, okay, are we with her now? Are we with him? And as someone who, me and my girlfriend sat down to watch it, as someone who knows someone who's battling with dementia, it is a truly harrowing thing to witness, and I was bawling like a baby. And it was, we both were on that couch, and it is just like, it is a freaking phenomenal film. So I recommend you all to go see it now that it's officially out on, you have to, I think it's still 20, you have to rent $20, but it's worth the $20, I'd say, because I got my mom, my sister to watch it as well too, and they were crying. So be prepared. That's all I'm going to say. So Malcolm, what were you going to say?
It's still in the cinemas for me. So
it is. Go see it then, everybody.
If you're in New Zealand.
Yes. Well, cinemas are now open where I'm at. So I actually got to see a movie in theaters for the first time on Sunday. So I was super excited about that. My mom wanted to go see a movie because it was Mother's Day. We were going to record the episode then, but we had to push it back because it was Mother's Day. I made that mistake. I thinking I could do both, but you know what? Don't do that. So we saw Raya and the Last Dragon, which is really good. It's really good. Not the best, but it's really good. But yeah. So Malcolm, what were you going to say about Nomadland? Oh, well.
Malcolm, any thoughts on Nomadland? He's got his.
I just really love Nomadland.
No, it is it is truly phenomenal film. What do you think? Did it deserve Best Picture?
It depends on where it falls on my top 10, which we'll find that out.
Oh, goody! I'm so excited to see that.
I thought we were gonna do the top 10 today.
Not today. Not today, because we did not think we're not do the top 10 today. We're gonna do that at a later date because there was some confusion along the lines of like when we were gonna do everything. Because that's going to be a larger episode. So this is why it's going to be this is a special episode we're doing tonight because I have to do some other things I need to do. So we're going to try to get that on a separate episode either sometime this week or, which we'll find out right after we finish this episode. We're going to see what other time we can record, whether it's next week or whether it's sometime this week, preferably this week. So I have this in the can so we can edit this for later, but that's neither here nor there. So this is basically this is an extra special episode. So we're gonna get this done because I know we're gonna be spending a long time on that other episode because at least probably almost 2 hours maybe.
We'll do 3 at a time. We do the top 10s. We could do 3 at a time until we get to 1, 2, 3.
We can. But anyway,
faster.
We will end this episode right here. Where can people find you, Dan?
You can find me at Dan Skibao on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. Also, I'm a film critic in Orlando, Florida, as I've mentioned. In my reaction to all this Golden Globes drama, I'll have an article up today. I wish I would have had it up sooner, but it should be up sometime tonight. My article, I gave these guys a unedited version to read themselves. About this on disappointmentmedia.com. That's a website that I work for, that I write for, and also my personal blog from the fourth row at wordpress.com. Also, I do a couple of YouTube shows called Top 5 Weekly and Bleacher Features, where myself and the guests discuss various topics that are in theaters, or based on movies that are in theaters, or a sports movie. We break it down from beginning to end. So those are my two things that I do on YouTube.
And Phony Malcolm, where can they find you?
You can find me on Take Few Productions, hosting Random every Saturday. This week's topic is Top 12 Amy Adams movies, in which Dan will be on that. And you can find me. I'm going to try and do a late night this week. And I'm thinking of doing Star Wars as a topic. But yeah, so you can look forward to that.
I am looking forward to that immensely. And finally, of course, Was Napping, where can they find you?
You can find me awake. I already sleep for an hour today. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AbrahamF25 or Mama Mia. Here we go again, and Shrek 2 thoughts.
You've been giving a lot of those thoughts recently, too. Like, you've been on a roll with those two.
I changed my bio and my picture and my
Yeah.
timeline picture, whatever you want to call
Yep.
it.
He's a fan. Also,
Actually, gonna rewatch right now.
okay, well, good. I was about to say, did you guys see the trailer for The Green Knight? The new trailer?
No,
Oh.
I woke up and I had a test and.
Oh, well, congratulations. Have you finished school, Abe?
I have a month away actually. In a
Oh,
month.
a
I
month?
graduate. Yes.
Oh, wait. So you didn't have finals this past week.
I have midterms.
Oh, you had midterms. Ah, okay. That's the test you were talking about. All right.
July
No, yeah,
30th. Can't come soon enough, man.
So what I was gonna say, The Green Knight. I'm super excited. That looks gorgeous just for the visuals alone. Go watch it, everybody.
A year ago, we're supposed to get that a year ago. Ah!
COVID made me forget about it, and now it's back again, and now I'm excited. But anyway, you can find me on Twitter at Cine_man. That's CINE_MANN, as well as if you want to see all my thoughts about the Golden Globes controversy, the Golden Globes being kicked from NBC, or The Green Knight. You can find it on there, as well as YouTube channel Manning Franks. I promised I was going to have an episode up last week, but I have been swamped with things I need to do in the real world and not the podcast world. So I'm trying to get that done and accomplished tonight. I'm not leaving my desk until I have finished writing it. So again, I'm slaving away. Someone grab the handcuffs. Keep me there. All right. Thank you. That is all. I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you all at the movies.